Welcome back. Today we got something a little bit different. This is a 725 amp DC drive, so that's about 300 kilowatts. 3-phase AC to single output DC. And the problem with this one is I've been told it's working, but when I had a look into it, it's full of metal shavings and carbon. So I told the customer I'm not going to turn it on because it may spark, and you can probably see, let me put a flashlight here, you can probably see all the black stuff is carbon and metal filings. I took some pictures, so I probably put the pictures into the video as well, where you can see that there's lots of glitter in the drive. So this means we need to completely dismantle the whole thing, clean everything thoroughly, especially the fan, which is down here, very dirty, and put it back together. So you can see the residues here, but yeah, it's a bit of a job because you're gonna strip it down to the bare bottom where the heatsink sits. So that's the bottom end with the current transducers and the heatsink, and I think it's probably about 20 plus years old. I don't know exactly. What I don't know is how good the capacitors are, and I don't know when it has been last running, but yeah, the customer wants to get it recommissioned, so we're gonna do that. Alright, let's take the stuff out and have a deeper look into the mess inside. There was a lot on the back of that board as well. You can see there's quite a bit going on there. I just do a big sweep over everything so I know where the wires are going. I know where these are going. These are the current transducers here. Because I had that board out already, so I took some pictures already of that. That's the front end. The front cover is missing. Also this cover is missing, never been there. Alright, let's take it apart and then have a closer look at the whole thing. So here we can see more of the disaster. This is all, I don't think it's visible on camera, but this contains some glittery stuff, so it's metal. The drive came off a brake test rig where they do some brake tests, obviously. And well, it's the stuff which comes from the brake, and if you use sinter metal brake pads, there is some metal in it. Here we can see that's the field output stage, pretty dirty as well. Even the temperature sensor is really dirty. And yeah, so we're gonna dig deeper into it, and we need to wash that board and get it clean as possible. Let me turn that around, maybe it's visible on here. Don't know if it's visible on camera, but there is some glitter on that capacitor. Same down here. So we do have some metal contamination here. Alright, let's dig into it further. So here we've got the fan cover off, and it looks dirty, but if you look at that coal mine here, that's really bad. And I don't know if it's visible on camera. The ripple stuff behind there, this is the heatsink, and it's completely blocked. It's completely blocked, so that means the heatsink must come out and needs to get washed. Same with the fan. Look at the fan, it looks really bad. This is all dirt and some washer. Yeah. Alright, no one ever cleaned that, for sure. The most concerning thing is the heatsink. there was literally no airflow going through the heatsink anymore, which is not a good thing. And there is glitter as well, so everything is full of metal. Alright, glad I didn't turn it on, because that would have been a disaster. This thing would just overheat. Alright, we'll take more stuff out and see what we can find. Well, this thing is a bit of a nightmare to dismantle. I got the bolts of the current transducers out here. There is some bolts down here and also some cables. That's a white one. This is a red one. So they need to come out, and the crossbars have to come out. Unfortunately, these are in the way. Even if you take them off, there's studs welded on the side here, so you can probably move it a little bit. So let's pull those connectors, and then hopefully the board, including the bars, should come out. Right, yeah. Some of the stuff is obvious, I just film it, so just in case. I struggle with reassembling, because you never know what we find, and maybe it takes a few days to get some spare parts. So it's always better to have it on film, so you know how everything comes together. This crossbar comes from here. These are the long bolts. I use this here, and there's some lugs on the side where it sits on. Here you can see it sits on these lugs. Yeah, you're looking like a chimney sweeper after 5 minutes on this shit. Anyway, but I must say it's not the worst drive I've ever seen. I've seen worse, which were completely packed in. The fan didn't rotate anymore, so dirty was it. But this, yeah, we need to get these out. Basically the bottom board as well, otherwise we can't actually access the bolts. At the very back there are some Phillips screws which are holding the fan. There's some at the front as well. I just took the vacuum cleaner a bit, and now we can see it's a capacitor which is actually white on a PC board which is green. We couldn't see that before. Alright, let's carry on here. So we finally got it out. Same problem here, lots of carbon, a bit of glitter. I don't know if it's visible here. Let's see. I turn the light around, you may be able to see the glittering here. So this is all metal mixed with carbon, close to high voltage. Almost guarantees for a nice firework. Okay, let's take that off and dig further. The bottom doesn't really look much better. There's lots of capacitors, everything is full of dust and dirt. Okay, let's take that away, dig further. So, and that's how the bottom looks like, everything is full. Yeah, that's the regen section, and that's the other section up there. So that's all it's going to come out, including the long bus bar, which goes up there. So we need to take the field controller out as well, or the field output station out as well, because I'm pretty sure that heatsink is dirty on the bottom as well. Okay, so these are the current transducers for each phase, and yeah, they're just measuring the incoming current, or the incoming and the outgoing current, because it's a regen drive. It regenerates into the mains. Alright, let's carry on. So now you got the back out. It's dirty, but most importantly, you can now see the heatsink a little bit better. And as I said before, there's very little air going through. It's pretty much completely full of shit. So now we can get to the bolts, get the fan out. Obviously that has to come out as well, because there is dirt underneath as well. These are just insulation layers here. And same here, that's the control side of the thyristor, and there's another insulation washer behind that cable here. This is the control cable, and this is the cable for the field controller. Alright, we're almost there, but yeah, Everything is dirty here. This is so bad, this stuff. Alright, let's get that fan out and see what surprise we find there. So now we can see the drama in its full glory. That was me scraping on. I would say there was probably about 10% airflow left. The rest was clogged up. And that's the fan. So if you look here, for example, you can see how much dirt is actually in the fan. This wasn't very clean either. You can't see it on the outside, but that's what it is. So we pulled the shit out with a vacuum cleaner, but it's still very dirty inside, so I need to take all the electronics off, which I was suspecting anyway, because these firing transformer boards, they are probably dirty underneath as well, so they're gonna come out as well. And then we'll take it outside and use the pressure washer. Soak it with some cleaning solvent and then just wash it out with a pressure washer, because it's not just at the bottom, it's really the whole fins are actually dirty. Don't know if it's visible. You can see the light on the back, but there's quite a bit of dirt on the fins, and obviously it needs some surface area for cooling. So let's take these boards out. Actually help with these little lugs here. So you're gonna push them in and then push the board up. Obviously pull all the plugs. Mark the board bottom and top. I think they're the same, just in case. And you can see there's still plenty of dirt here everywhere. So we need to take the connection plates off. Figure out how that door comes off. There's some trick somehow. And take the top cover off. I think it's bolted on somehow. And yeah, use the pressure washer. Alright, welcome back. So we got the board out, and there is some glitter as well. I don't know if it's visible. If I move the light, it's probably visible. Something is sparkling here. Okay, we got the top cover off. That's just a piece of sheet metal held with these two bolts. Let's turn it around and take the other board out, and then I think with a bunch of bolts we're probably able to move the heatsink out, so we can push the whole heatsink to the top. That gives us much better access to clean it. Let's try that. So there are these bolts here, little bolts, and there shouldn't be anything in the way, so we can actually move the whole heatsink to the top. Let's try that. Same principle here. Pull the plugs, take the board out, and then we got all sensitive components out. We take those out when we have the heatsink out, and yeah, there shouldn't be anything in the way, so we should be able to move that heatsink this way and give it a proper clean. That makes life a bit easier. So it's even better, the sides are actually coming off, and the heatsink is now moving in the frame here, so I need two hands to get that off. But we can take the whole thing out and give that a proper clean. And that's the reason why compressed air alone doesn't work. Look at that. This is really dirty. So we're gonna pressure wash that. And this is all carbon here. So you can give that a thorough clean, because now no electrical parts anymore. The heatsink, we're gonna wash it down, and then we use some paper or something like that. Just go through to make sure everything is clean. Because every piece of dirt or every amount of dirt is an insulator, and obviously stops the heat from being dissipated into the air. Alright, so that's just the coarse dirt, and it's quite a pile actually coming out of the fan. It was just the loose stuff, and there's still shit coming out. that was just what was on the fins. Yeah, I think it's 20 years of dirt. And the other problem is that there is no filters in the doors, so all the shit goes right into the cabinet, and well, it's pulled in the fan because this is actually a vacuum cleaner. Essentially, it sucks a lot of air, and if the air is dirty, it just gets deposited on everything. Tomorrow I'm gonna go outside and clean it with a steam cleaner. It's too late and cold now. So we got the connection plates off, and these are the inner plates, mainly for me to remember how things go together. And that's a temperature sensor. Okay, it's worth it because there's a lot of dirt in the middle as well. So we cover those trigger lines and then we just wash it. The risk taking those off and having a poor thermal contact to the heatsink is too high, because things may be warped. The thing was probably getting hot at some point, so I don't want to take it off, but we give it a very good wash and make sure there's no metal shavings left, and then we put it back together. And that's the back of the insulation plate. You can see it's pretty dirty as well. So that's all conductive carbon. Right.